Even though I'm a little tired and a little less than ready for the trip tomorrow, I'll be traveling to Chicago for the Out of the Darkness overnight walk put on by the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and I do it in memory of my father, Joseph, who died in 1978 when he was 49 years old and I was 24 years old. That was a life-changing tragedy for me and for my family, as it is for anyone who loses a loved one to suicide. And I am really honored to be joining a couple of thousand other suicide prevention advocates and people who are trying to find meaning after a death by suicide, and hopefully will reduce the stigma related to mental illness and alcoholism and emotional and mental disarray that people sometimes get into, and maybe invite people to seek help when they need it. And I hope we help one another. Those of us who have been grieving a loss, and others who have made an attempt and fortunately are still with us, and others who are advocates for the prevention of suicide, for the treatment of those things which cause suicide: mental illness, untreated mental illness, and alcohol and drug use and abuse and addiction, and violence, and all of the other causal threads that often go to make up, it's very complicated and very, I think, preventable behavior. I also want to note that in part I walk in memory of Ed Schneidman, who I think of as the father of modern suicidology, and who really was a pioneer in believing that suicidal people should be paid attention to, and that we should ask them where they hurt and what their pain is caused by from their point of view. And then Ed would say, Dr. Schneidman would say, and then ask them how we can help them to have their pain eased. And certainly we have a long way to go as a society to help people who have that kind of pain, that emotional or mental, or I would say spiritual pain that leads to suicide, to really make a place for them to find a reason for going on, to find a way to make meaning out of life even when it's difficult, and find the kind of resources and the kind of relationships that they need to make it through another day, which is really all any of us are trying to do. So I look forward to tomorrow, and I'll be back with check-in, and I will try and record some folks out on the journey. So